Landlords selling off properties in record numbers, battling rising costs. Will it be 2025 be a disappointment, or will the underlying trends that are there rescue us and make things better? These are the questions, and if you listen on, at the end we'll have the answers to all that. So first we wanted to look at what happened in 2024. 2024 house prices so far this year are up by 1.2%, which is great because compared to the year before they were down by 1.2%, so that's not brilliant. But the year before that, 7.2% up in 2022. So will 2025 be the same? Who knows? Let's look at the underlying factors that affect property prices in the UK as I see them today. It's just my view, no one else's. Mortgage rates have ticked one mark down, 25 basis points. Some people are saying, such as Zoopla, that it won't change next year. Others are saying there'll be 0.25% cut throughout 2025 every quarter. So that'll end up at a 1% fall. Now that's a lot more positive, okay? People like to see that and it gives you confidence in the market. Now, household incomes, what's happening with them? According to the Office of National Statistics, if they can be believed, household incomes went up by 9 to 12% in 2024. Now that is clawing back the cost of living crisis. And if incomes are going up, then that's a lot more positive. Sorry, not 2024, that's 2023 and 2024. So that's a lot more positive. Now, stamp duty. We've all heard about that, and it's been increased by 2%, but the underlying factor I think is going to be more of a UK-based driver, in that people who are serious buyers will look at the end of 2024 and the beginning of 2025 and think, how can I make the most of this? And basically what we're going to have, they'll try and lock in sales before the stamp duty changes. Currently homeowners pay stamp duty of more than £250,000. This will fall back to £125,000 in March 2025. So that'll get a lot of people moving and trying to get onto the market. First-time buyers currently pay no stamp duty at all up to £425,000. This is going to be reduced to £300,000, which means on a £425,000 property, that's going to be an increase of £6,250, which is quite a lot. So that is going to be a real driver, I think, in the first quarter. People are going to be getting in and buying to avoid that. Now, positive market indicators, sales are up by 19% compared to this time last year, and buyer inquiries are up by 25%. Positive mental attitude. Sentiment is good. People are seeing that mortgage rates may well fall and they're saying, let's make a decision, let's jump in. Okay, let's look at immigration. Now you must have seen this week that they made a mistake and an extra 300,000 people actually entered the UK in 2023. I mean, how can you make that sort of mistake? You know, it was 600, now it's just shy of 1 million. If I made that mistake with my personal finances, I'd either be super wealthy or I'd be bankrupt. But this is the mess that is what is really being, I mean, I think this deserves its own market wrap, is what is the truth in what is reported by the government. Is it true or is it not? Anyway, Dominic Raab, you may remember him, he was an MP. He previously commented and said that immigration has contributed to 20% to house price growth over the last 25 years. This is in 2018. Analysis by the Ministry of Housing shows immigration has contributed 21% of house price growth in England, where house prices have risen by 320% over that period. So that's a fair amount of increase due to the migrants coming into the country. But it's interesting what the migrants actually do. It has more of an impact on the rental market. You know, migrants are more likely to rent with lower home ownership compared to UK-born residents. 2019 and 2021, migrants were almost 3 times more likely to be in private rented accommodation than UK-born residents. So they're looking for a rented property, it's taking more out of the market. There's now 1 million people. And the majority of those are of working age or education age because they're coming on visas that allow that sort of thing. So that's going to force up the rental market, which we're all looking at as investors. Now we've got the missing 4.3 million homes we talked about last week. Now Labour's have got a pledge to build 1.5 million homes, and it's going to apparently proving more challenging than they expected. Wow, there's a surprise. They're backtracking on it. They've got hurdles such as labour shortages, planning delays and rising construction costs. The Labour Housing Minister, Matthew Pennycook, actually said delivering 1.5 million homes is going to be more difficult than we expected in opposition. And that's just 10 days ago he said that. So a thing to look at though is what is the underlying fundamental for house prices? Are they overvalued? Because that's going to make people think, should I buy or shouldn't I? In 2007, homes were 40% overvalued. That's before the financial crisis, leading to significant price falls during 2008-2009 crisis. Zoopla's current model, because Zoopla had this model that assesses house prices. Zoopla's current model showed house prices in 2023 were 16% overvalued, which is considered fairly average. And that's due to high mortgage rates. But they've since corrected without major price falls. So house prices now are seen as affordable, 2024, which is pretty good. So what do we think is going to happen in 2025? Well, according to the experts, if there are those people out there, Zoopla expects house prices to remain undervalued in 2025, assuming a mortgage rate of 4.25%. They expect, therefore, 2.5% house price growth. They predict house prices will grow by 7.5% over the next 3 years. At the same time, it's not fair for everyone. Prices are rising, differently in the north than the south. There's still the north-south divide. Prices are rising above average in the Midlands, Northern England, Scotland and Wales. And Southern England is facing affordability pressures because down there, and this is why the market is not all the same. It's not all the same for all people. Down in the south of England, south coast, houses are overpriced currently at 30%. So that's going to lead to likely an underperformance of 2025, 2026. So there is it affordable? Are things overvalued? Are we building enough houses? What's going to happen? What's the effect of immigration? How are people feeling? What's the sentiment? Mortgage rates, will they go down or up? I mean, they could go either way, but it's likely they'll go down. Household incomes are going up, it's positive, and stamp duty, that's happening. So that will be a big effect. So 2025, where will we see the biggest house price rises, if we do? On a macro level, all regions in 2024 experienced price increases, okay? Although the north-south divide still persisted. Northern Ireland saw the largest gains of 6.3%, while the south 1% or less, down to flat, because they're still overpriced. That's a macro level, that's a bigger picture, how are things looking overall. On a micro level, the northern towns with the highest price rises are places like Oldham, up 3.7%, Wigan 3.9%. On the downside, Ipswich down by 1.2%, Truro, Dartford down by 1.2%. So it's very much a north-south divide. Overall predictions, Zoopla, as I said, are saying 2.5%. Savills suggests 3.5%, very bullish, and Knight Frank 2%. So that is the overall view. What do we think here at APW Towers? I think the turbulence we've had in 2024 hopefully is abated, and we're going to have a much better constant market in 2025. Where I hope, obviously because I'm involved in it, prices do go up. But again, it's got to be about where you're buying and pies. Population growth, infrastructure growth, employment growth. Now you may say, well, why don't we just buy where all the immigrants are moving to? Well, apparently immigration in an area can lead to short-term falls in house prices. So it's a case of being selective where you are buying. Margate, for example, I reported some time ago, a lady asked me, was Margate a great place to buy? She lives there and she can't sell her property. Should she buy more property? It's got a crime problem, it's got immigration problems, it's got a problem of people living on the coast, now have to move back to the city to work. So just, caveat emptor, buyer beware. So let's end with a few questions from the past few weeks. We have a S Whiting 100, on it goes, so sick of the UK, Stuart. The UK has got itself into a pickle and they do need to sort themselves out. I have faith that they will. It's a great economy, a great people, and they will turn it around, and immigration is just a good thing. Someone called Night 1377. Building companies have no real incentive to meet the 300,000 home building target. The more they build, they flood the market with houses and property prices decrease. Why would builders facilitate something that will devalue their products? To a certain extent, I think that's probably right. But there's such an underlying fundamental pressure on the market to grow, I don't think that will occur. Apparently, you could flood the market with all the properties it needs to 4.3 million, and it would only just be sucked up by existing demand. We've got YouTube Man 5033. Some landlords local to me are selling up. I see lots of them selling, but I'm buying and getting some bargains. Great attitude, well done, YouTube Man. Marcus H. This will push things to a breaking point in London. Wouldn't want to own a pet and try to find a place right now. Yeah, it is. It's bad in London. It's difficult to find places to rent. So there we are. I hope you did enjoy it. If you have any questions, do post them. Any comments you'd like to make about it all, then do so. Below there's a form you can jump in and point out what mistakes I've made. Jolly good. Thank you very much. Do take care. Cheerio.